him behind him.
Just stays there.
What a play.
There's not a woman to shut up and let me answer.
I think I'm breaking every FCC rule in the book.
All the way! Touchdown, Cleveland!
I'm calling both games.
This is the Atlanta Cycle. I have a fancy half-assed diagram to the side for you to follow along. First, there is the hope of the current season. Perhaps playoff and Super Bowl ambitions. Then reality smacks them like they're acting a fool. Either by choking, injuries, or both. The season is lost. The Falcons are currently here. Then, defying all logic, they go on a random winning streak to prevent any true change. Perhaps a 7-9 season or so. Then Arthur Blank feels they've earned another year and nothing changes. Repeat the cycle. Atlanta prevents their entry into the tank-offs with a win. Well done, you beat an openly rebuilding team. You get all the participation trophies and ass pats you so desire. I would personally recommend a long drive off a short pier, but sadly in-season contraction is not an option. So here's what you do. Claim you have COVID. Don't even get the disease, just say all your players got the Rona and need to forfeit the season. You'll have more dignity with this option. The New York Jets. They are a bye week at this point in time, especially for groups like the Kansas City Chiefs. To them, this is like facing off against an undermanned JV squad in Maine. There is no chance for the opposition. Patrick Mahomes will dissect that which they call a secondary without a sweat. The relentless march to 0-16 glory continues on for the butt fumble. If Trevor Lawrence cared about his NFL future, he would do everything in his power to not come here. He will die if he does. Even claiming they have COVID will not save them from a horrible fate. That's how bad it is here. Lions fans, beware. There is a trap lurking around every corner. The ultimate horror that has consumed millions throughout the years. The danger of false hope. Be on the lookout for these signs in your neighbors and friends. Long shot rationalization.
You know, the Lions actually could make the playoffs this year.
Towing of the company line.
Man, I think Detroit is starting to build a culture up there. Maybe Patricia is the right coach for us.
Dismissal of reality.
I don't care that they beat Jacksonville in a choking Atlanta. All we need is for Matt Stafford to go God mode every single game and we have a legitimate chance.
Blind optimism.
This Colts defense is so overrated. They're nothing. Rivers, he's done. The Lions got this shit in the bag, man.
Those poor fools. The side effects of false hope include crushing disappointment, increased apathy, diarrhea, wasted generational talents, and eventual death. Don't let this ailment affect you. False hope. Not even once. The NFC North Coalition is responsible for the content of this advertising. There must be something in the formula of stopping Sean McVay's offense. You know what it could be? Brian Flores. He stuffed the Rams offense in Super Bowl 53 and it continues on here. Those Dolphins are still angry, you know. So livid that they're benching Ryan Fitzpatrick and his magical beard for Tua Tagovailoa. Incredibly risky maneuver, but it didn't seem to harm them here. Jared Goff and his offense were relentlessly annihilated by fin, tail, snout, and blowhole. There would be no mercy. By God, think of the poor children. They're televising this slaughter! The march of Miami on the poor souls who took them for granted continues on. And they're within striking distance for a playoff spot at 4-3. I figured it was a bit too early to see them do this, but this year has been trying to break me. I'll allow it. Allow me to take you on a trip to a distant past. A time when every yard gained was sacred. A place where defense was hallowed and offensive mistakes were common. A time when the autumn wind wasn't just an ancient relic of a forgotten age. Welcome to 1975. The Raiders march into Cleveland to try and make a statement. Their brand of football is here to stay. It's a battle of inches, a struggle in the trenches, and some rather careless mistakes with the football by the Browns in general. It's not a Baker issue, it's not a play calling issue, it's an everything issue. The whole offense played awfully against a defense not exactly known for elite play. As the wind howls, the officials will confirm it as they allegedly screw over Jarvis Landry. As the Raiders smother their opposition, the Browns confirm that even this year has its limits. Get it together, boys, you're better than this. I've seen it firsthand. The biggest issue for the Bengals this year has been in the endgame. They fail to properly finish off opponents. It's honestly a big reason why they're the record that they are. Fortunately, there's good news if you live in the Cincinnati Metro. You got to see the upside of them when able to seal the deal. And it's against a top-tier squad in the Titans. The whole situation is fucked.
Tennessee has an allegedly strong pass rush. The Bengals are without 4 of their starters on the O-line, yet they couldn't get any pressure on Joe Burrow. Fucking how? What the hell happened to this defense? Why are they bending to oblivion against the Bungles? After last week's serving of humble pie? You do realize the Colts are now tied with you for the division lead. What part of you don't take any opponent for granted don't you understand, Titans?
You blow it, man.
The classic swerve. A staple of modern cinema. When you expect one outcome, but some man who fancies himself the next Orson Welles wants to subvert your expectations. You thought it was going to be the Aaron Rodgers show? But today we get pissed off Dalvin Cook. He's gotten his money, but he is dissatisfied with the current state of affairs. He needs to carry this team quite literally to a win. The Green Bay defense's ingredients are merely salt, piss, and vinegar to give them a bitter defeat. 4 touchdowns for Dalvin, 3 of them on the ground. Packers, let's talk. Why are you trying to reinforce that whole fraud narrative that you had last season? Games like this are more proof that you never really shed it. But there's always a silver lining. Green Bay has the ball with a minute left and is only down by 6. Aaron just needs to work a little magic and subverting expectations. Now these games writers are going to think of themselves as Neil Druckmann. Revenge. Buffalo has been looking for it for almost 20 years. Time and time again they have been bullied into submission by the might of New England. But now is their chance. Now is the time to avenge their fallen brothers of the past. They are stronger now. They are worthy of ascending to the mantle of AFC East champion. And the Patriots will suffer dearly for their crimes. Yet, for what it's worth, they can never get to 4th gear. They rev and squeal, but the transition is never completed. It's like something's stuck. It's nothing in particular, the whole team's just caught in mud. It can't pry itself free. New England is always lurking around the corner, no matter the circumstance. It's the stereotypical horror movie villain, sitting in the background as the main character frets and worries, the knife slowly rising as dramatic music crescendos in the background. Buffalo may keep distance from their adversary, but they are never safe. They are ripe for the kill. Even as they're up by 3, New England is ready for the lunge.
Newton will keep it. Oh, he lost the ball! Buffalo takes over!
Something about Cam Newton and fumbles always brings me to sadness. Another dark moment for a twilight season. Buffalo escapes the clutches of evil and the Patriots have lost 4 straight. Not stereotypical. Pity. Classic heavyweight bout. No matter what happens in the world, we know that Steelers and Ravens will usually be a match for the ages. Although for the hype that this matchup has, it's surprisingly sloppy for both offenses. The Steelers can't get much traction and Lamar Jackson is disappointing me. I expected more out of him, yet he can't stop turning the damn ball over. Compared to last year, he's just really soft and weak in terms of his presence. Pittsburgh dares him to beat them through the air and he can't do it. The Ravens' defense is mostly up to task, but without the legend of Lamar, they are doomed to a world of futility. The turnovers are ruining them. It's a winnable game, yet Jackson has all but regressed to rookie form. Pittsburgh feasts, but even then the Steelers can't pull away. They're offensively stymied as well. These are what these games are known for, you know? One of the best rivalries in the NFL for a reason, and this is it. Baltimore's relentless rushing attack keeps them in the game. They know this is important to them. They can taste the lead deep in the 4th quarter, but just can't come close to it. They'll be teased by it. They'll beg for it. But it'll have to come down to one final play for salvation.
He's got to find a soft spot in the pocket and move away. Here it is to the end zone, and it's broken up.
The Steelers remain undefeated. Do you know what this means? The Seahawks aren't exactly known for blowout wins, but this game was probably as close as you're going to get to one. Seattle dominated San Francisco's defense through the air. Russell Wilson was cooking. DK Metcalf was blazing. The blitzkrieg of the Niners stronghold was on. Jimmy Jesus could not save San Fran from this gruesome and frightfully delicious fate. Neither could he save himself or George Kittle from the 40 lashes of the injury bug. After a rather avoidable loss last week, Seattle bounces back in a convincing manner. It is technically against a battered foe, and San Francisco tried their hardest to make it a game in the 4th quarter, but they found a way to pull through again. They still can't make it easy on their fan base, can they? At least something's consistent on this team. The only comparable is how destroyed the Niners are in terms of injuries. Good God, did a typhoon go through Santa Clara? The Chargers have been the dark horse candidate for the choke-off championship. Atlanta may get all the notoriety, but the former San Diego has been blowing games with brutally efficient fashion. Back-to-back blown 17-point leads are merely icing on the cake for these boys. Perhaps this week will be different. Justin Herbert is still balling and near single-handedly carrying this team to some shred of relevance. Denver is struggling to gain traction. A few brave souls are even calling for Drew Lock to be benched. LA's redheaded stepchild is a 21-point lead on the Broncos in the third quarter. I know we've seen this movie before. They amass a colossal lead only to blow it in painful and sometimes hilarious fashion. But today, they're doing the same goddamn thing. Justin Herbert literally can't be Superman, you know? Perhaps he has to clone himself to play defense. And to play special teams, especially special teams. And perhaps to sabotage the other quarterback because Drew Lock found form again. He's striking with precision. This is the Lock we expected out of him this season. Denver is pushing back hard. The Chargers are doing everything in their power to give themselves another hard-earned defeat. They only need one more play.
Lock gonna roll and throw.
Hey, the constant staple of their failure. They keep one-upping themselves in the art of blowing leads, as if it's their true calling in life. Falcons, I'd be careful if I were you. You've got company. Speaking of which, Week 14, that's the matchup of the century. The ultimate choke bowl. Must-watch television. Sportsball. The struggle of two so-called playoff contenders that only have us asking questions about their long-term sustainability. Is it a heinous offense to say that neither of these teams actually look that good? The Saints don't have much traction without a healthy Michael Thomas, and the Bears don't have much traction without an adequate play caller. Matt Nagy, just stop. You're trying to force things that you just don't have. If they have some semblance of a competent game plan, there's a good chance that they win this game. But they don't. And the Saints are doing just enough to stay relevant. They're up by 10 and are effectively stuffing Chicago's offense, if you could call it that. But then it's as if the gods decided they wanted us all to suffer. They would allow the Bears to come back and make this another tight contest. They would not doink a field goal to end the game. There would be overtime. As the rest of the football world groans, New Orleans will escape their inevitable fate yet again. You can thank Matt Nagy and his brilliant play calling for this. Although perhaps it is mainly Foles at fault. Either way, the Bears have seemingly run out of luck. We all do someday, boys. You know as all hell that this is another fantastic bout in Tank Division. And you know damn well that such a shit show cannot be contained in this limiting venue. It needs more exposure. Much more. The plight of the Giants. A team lost at sea. They are those that try desperately to reclaim their former glory, yet lack that spark that once made them great. In New York's case, this mostly refers to the entire team, but I wanted to give it more of a build-up. Tampa Bay should have bulldozed them on paper. An offense gaining chemistry against the Giants. But I must say, the New York defense went back in time to the late 2000s. That dominating crew against Tom Brady? You know what happens in these situations. A hell of an effort with near-perfect scheming and containment. With a normal offense, the Giants pull off the unthinkable upset. Unfortunately, this is a team led at QB by Daniel Jones. He's not a bad option per se, but he's either overthrowing his targets or making some awful, awful passes. The lack of cohesion is holding the team back and allowing the Bucs to stay in this game. And this isn't the fault of Daniel Jones, no. This is the fault of Dave Gettleman for grossly reaching for him in the 2019 NFL Draft. It's been the issue of the Giants all season long. They're missing an element in games. Either no defense, no offense, or all of the above. Tampa now has a strong grasp of the lead, but then we see why Daniel Jones was regarded as a prospect. He's finally leading New York on a touchdown drive. The defense is being exposed. Can it be done? Can we bring back some of that old Eli magic?
Jones for the end zone. It is caught.
Oh my God, he's going to do it, isn't he?
Jones throwing for it, and it is knocked away.
And there's the Daniel Jones we saw for most of the game. A bad throw made too late allows the Bucs to slide out with an ugly win. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Seems like a New York trend as of late. For today's lolcow of the week, I've made an executive decision. As of late, I've been leaving it up to a poll, but I felt this one was pretty cut and dry. Javon Wims of the Chicago Bears. Against the Saints, he was getting frustrated. His mouthguard was ripped off and someone allegedly spit in his face. That can't fly against them. He had to keep appearances, so what does he do? Punch an opponent in the face. With his helmet on. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is just sitting there wondering what the hell is happening. We all do as well, as Mims was ejected and now must spin the wheel of discipline. I know you didn't start it, but the NFL doesn't give a shit. They just want blood. Two-game suspension, not too bad for whatever the hell you did. Thanks for donating your salary to the pension fund, and we'll see you next time. Blood for the blood god. Injuries for the injury god.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
May these offerings appease the gods for another week. Amen.
Jones spent 5 seasons in Dallas. Another terrific kick by Hecker. Forced Grant all the way back to the 13. And now another big return by Jakeem Grant. Still going. Grant will take it all the way. 88 yards for a Dolphins touchdown on special teams.